5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. Now, here's Tom Silverstein.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. We were having quite the discussion. We decided we better turn the cameras on before.
First, why did
so
you cut
could
your
hear
hair?
that.
I told you not to. He cut too much. It's too thin on the side.
Okay.
You trying to look like me?
Thanks for that. Thanks for that evaluation. Stick to football, okay?
It actually looks pretty good.
All right.
Yeah.
So we were just. I mean, there's so many things to go to. On a 40-40 tie against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start, but let's start off with special teams because they've now lost 2 games due to special teams, in my opinion. I mean, yes, there were other factors in the Cowboys game.
Yes.
I'm not lost. They lost and they tied. I keep saying that they lost that game because it feels like they lost.
Yeah, because you're talking about a team that got beat by the Bears, a team that had no momentum.
Was missing 2 linemen and CeeDee Lamb, one of the best receivers in the league.
And some defensive players, too. They're missing a linebacker.
They lost a 3rd starter on the offensive line. Too.
Yes.
So, during the game.
And the cameras stand on Jerry Jones, so people thought it was going to be a blowout. And I will say this, though. The Packers came out, went straight down the field, and just dominated. It could have went up from 14-0 to block extra point, and you score. And it seemed like to me that the Packers probably didn't think that he could score and get 2 points. Because you would think that 2 end guys, they're supposed to come back if they ever block to make the tackle.
Yeah, I mean,
I
looked at it pretty closely, and we'll actually show it on X's and O's.
Oh my God! I didn't want you to show it.
It was the guy was so far in the backfield, he had so much momentum that the ball just popped
way
ahead.
Happens.
But after that, I even wonder why they didn't go for 2 at some point to try to get those points back. I mean, I know they. In your mind, you're going, okay, it's a 4-point game and a 3-point game. You at some point, it could be kicking a field goal to tie it. But you're on the road. You need to go for the win. At some point, take a chance.
Yeah, but back to special teams because that seemed to be a lot of heartburn. So the block, and then they get a 46-yard return.
Yeah,
at the end of the game
in overtime.
Right? So special teams has been a real liability.
Killing them.
And
they're not getting any returns. They're using 2 rookies at returns. They nearly got, Matthew Golden nearly got knocked into next week on a punt return. I don't know what's going on there. Do you remember, I brought this up in the podcast, do you remember, what year was it, 94 maybe, when special teams were really struggling? Maybe it was 93. And Holmgren said, and Nolan Cromwell was the special teams coach.
Yeah, I know.
And Holmgren said, all right, that's it. I am involving every assistant coach.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
He's like, everybody's going to have a role.
I remember that.
Yes. They're going to teach and be out there. And I thought that was kind of ingenious because now you got the offensive line coach out there, teaching the blocking. You got the receivers guy teaching the gunners.
And because of special teams, I have a Super Bowl ring, to be honest with you.
Yes. They turned into one of the best special teams.
Yes.
And it wasn't just because of Desmond Howard. Some of the blocking on that touchdown he had.
That's a great point.
I don't know. He's got to do something drastic there. I don't know what's going on with Rich Bisaccia and that unit. But personnel was part of it, too. He had, and we'll show that in X's and O's, but he had 2 guys that they yanked out of there after the extra point. And I'm not sure why they were in there in the first place. So,
well, that's why that job was available, because the last special team coach wasn't very good, so we had to make a big investment in bringing the best coach over. Now, McManus is a true upgrade when he's able to kick. The guy's just amazing. Matter of fact, I think the punter they got 2 of the best kickers. But if you can't protect and can't cover special teams, it got to be an issue. So I don't know during the bye week, and we're going into week 5. Some of that's baked in the cake. I mean, they're not going to go out and trade for guys or do. I don't know what they'll do, but they got to get that stuff cleaned up.
People want to fire people, but you got to have an alternative. You have to have a better alternative.
Yes.
And
you may see some starters on special teams at times, not all the time, because you got to have enough guys on your roster that can play special teams.
It helps when you have healthy linemen, because then you can use them on your extra point team, and so they're missing Zach Tom, Aaron Banks, and Anthony Belton, who are 3 guys who would help you on the extra point.
Stackhouse they may have to put some defensive linemen to rotate in there.
Well,
I guess
they did, and we'll show that. But let's talk defense, because that was just shocking.
Without CeeDee Lamb, I'm thinking that, and that's the National Football League, really, because a lot of the pressure was going to be on Pickens and Ferguson, but that wasn't the whole issue to me. It could not stop the run. When Wyatt went out, 95 went out, they were able to run the ball. And you have to give the Cowboys a lot of credit, their whole coaching staff.
Yes.
Even when they were behind, they ran the ball and they was getting 4 and 5 yards. Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders went out. It was just him, and he was running the ball and they were controlling the clock. And they just stuck with it. And then when Hobbs went out, they're going exclusively at 24.
Oh, no question. And they were going at Hobbs too.
Yeah.
They were like nobody can cover George Pickens down the field other than Keyshawn Nixon.
Yes.
And we're going to threaten that. And then the corners are playing, 18 yards off the ball, and they're just throwing the ball underneath. And they needed to get rid of it anyways because they didn't want Micah Parsons to take over.
Yeah.
I thought Dak Prescott played an amazing game. He was ahead of Halfley the whole time. He knew what they were doing. He knew when to get rid of the ball. I don't know. They just really had their number.
And even when Carl Brooks broke through, he got the face mask penalty.
Yeah.
And when they get Dak off his spot, that's when you can really get after him. But I'm just going to throw it up to Pickens. And we're going to show one time on X and O's, I thought for sure my nephew, Evan Williams, was going to get him a pick. And then on the Pickens touchdown, I don't know where. We got to look at our X and O's.
Yeah.
Where Xavier, was he supposed to be in cover 4? Or was he disguising?
There are just too many mistakes.
Especially down the stretch.
And you can't lose one guy like Wyatt and then fall apart. He's a really good player. But, he's not Micah Parsons. He's not Rashawn Gary yet. And they just didn't do anything. I thought the Cowboys had a great plan for Micah Parsons. I think they knew exactly. They knew him better than the Packers know him, so they knew what he likes to do. They had guys ready for him at every level to block, and then nobody else did anything. So
and I think, and even when he got banged up, he had to come out the game because I thought it was a concussion protocol, but he came back in and made a great play, because if he don't stop Dak on that one, he scores, that's the end of the game. But the one-on-ones on the inside, you got to win those matchups. Because that's the reason why if you got 2 guys on Parsons, you got to be, but what they tried to do is neutralize Cooper inside. Because they was letting number 7 do whatever you want, but we're going to take Cooper out of it. So if you got 7 and 56 coming downhill, they can stop a Jahmyr Gibbs type.
Yeah.
But the Dallas blocking scheme, Tom, was nothing extraordinary. They just physically had the right angles.
Yeah.
And when you're getting 4, 5, 6 yards a clip, that playbook opens up. And the Dallas Cowboys did not panic when they were behind. They just kept running the ball. Because what you wanted them to do was stop the run and make Dak have a career day. Well, both things happened, and that's the reason why you got the tie.
Yeah, and so offensively, they played pretty well, I think. I think they had a few times where they kind of struggled with trying to get the ball down the field when every time they threw the ball out in the flat or on a screen, they did really well. You know, they started getting Josh Jacobs the ball on the outside, and eventually that opened the run game, and he, blasts off that 18-yard touchdown run.
Well, the two-headed monster, him and Wilson, that's a good running. I mean, when 23 come in, Tom,
good change up pace.
Good. Exactly, that's a good mixture there, because Jacobs is the bell cow, man. He can catch passes, he can do a lot, but some of the screens got a little distorted with the linemen early on, couldn't get out there on the timing. They were trying to get the ball, the Golden that time, and they're still trying to get him the ball in space. To see he can do some of his stuff, and that's going to be evolving. That's going to go into Cincinnati week. But it came out to me that Jordan Love went back to his old reliable, and that's number 87. Yeah.
If you're gonna try to cover him one-on-one in press coverage in short yardage, he's gonna win.
Oh, he's one of the best 50-50. Romeo's one of the best 50-50 catches we've had around here in a long time. With a guy on him, he still can catch it with his hands and really take advantage of it. Because that first touchdown, I mean, that was pretty good coverage. It was a great throw. But it just seemed like to me that whenever it's in the red zone, he's getting the ball if it's one-on-one. And I like that.
And so let's go to, two situations we have to critique LaFleur, and one is at the end of the first half.
Yes.
I typically like an aggressive coach. You're playing against a defense that isn't any good, and maybe you can steal some points. But I thought after they get the false start and it's 1st and 15 and there's 21 seconds left, just nail it, right?
It's not worth the risk. I mean, you can basically say they got to receive it to come out, so we're giving them 2 possessions.
Don't.
So, just try to limit it to 1 possession. Take a knee and go inside.
I mean, you haven't, to that point, you haven't beaten them deep except early in the game when they threw the ball to Golden. Golden/Wicks, I don't know which one that ball was for.
I'll talk about that in X and O's, what I thought happened on that. But, that's when you try to bite off more than you can chew. Next thing you know, instead of going in ahead, you go in, losing.
You're behind 16-13.
It's a head scratcher. Because change of pace, that's something we always talked about. Holmgren always talked about. Change of pace. Defense, you got to hold them to a field goal. You can't let them score. They just took all the momentum, and they received the ball coming out, and so you got to regroup at that point.
Okay. So at the end of the game, they get down to the 12-yard line on 19, and they Manuel Wilson has a 7-yard run and are down to the 12. And the next, they call 2 plays, shot plays into the end zone. They're going to try to score a touchdown. And I forgot how many seconds there were left in the game. 18,
but it was winding down.
32 seconds. And then, so Love runs a read option, and instead of throwing, actually, he has the option of giving the ball to, I think it was Jacobs, it might have been Wilson, and instead throws a screen to Golden. Dobbs misses the block, and then it's 3 yards. Okay.
See, I thought for sure, because they've been throwing so many screens, that's the one you fake it and throw it deep. They would have got that. Because that's what, everybody knows Diggs is a very aggressive corner. So if they'd have did that play, and it's something they can do down the line, but you got to fake it. And when that corner comes, 87 fakes, blocks him, and goes long. He'll be wide open. That was the time to call that play because they had been running a lot of screens. But that lost. They keep losing yards. That don't look right.
My thought down there is get the ball to Tucker Kraft. Just find a way.
And space.
Set up a play that, whether it's a pick, whatever, get it in his hands and let him run it. Because you still have a timeout left at that point. And so the play they ran to Golden, that was a bust. Then they called timeout. Now, they could have run to the line, spiked it, and then it would have been third down. Okay, but they still have a timeout. So then you have the option of either throwing to the end zone, or if you think you can get it to the 5 and the guy can run it in, you can do that because you have a timeout. If he doesn't make it, then you call timeout.
Right.
But they wanted 2 plays, and boy, that last
the clock management
seconds
was, and they work on that, but the last 2 games, the clock management hasn't been up to the standards that they feel happy
what
about.
Were you thinking when they're just kind of walking to the line?
Well, I'm thinking they're just going to spike it and just let the man's kick it and tie it up. I had no idea that Jordan was going to take another shot. And that could have really cost them. But, clock management is something that a lot of people don't talk a lot about. But it can cost you games.
Oh, yeah.
You got to know everything. And some teams are very good at it. But if you think about the teams who are winning, like the Phillies of the world, they seem like they have every situation already predetermined. So when it happens, we already know what to do.
Yeah. Whose responsibility is it to get the team to the line? They were slow getting to the line of scrimmage.
Well, it's 2 people, well, actually 3. The head coach had to remind Jordan, but after that, no communication. The center and the quarterback got to make sure everybody knows what's going on.
That you're hurrying up to the line.
Because the center got to get the ball, and the center also knows that the referee has to touch it or whatever. Case in point, he can't move the ball, because they're going to be cracking down on that. I think it's 4 or 5 games. If the center puts the ball down and moves it, they're going to take you back 5 yards. So the 74 got to be on point with that. After that, Jordan got to calm everybody down. We know what we're doing. We're going to take a shot, or I'm going to just spike it and kick it, go into overtime and see if we
get
can
up
win
to the line, because then you've got
the urgency.
Maybe you got 14 seconds, and then you can call your play and go. And
because those are 2 guys can see the clock too.
Yeah.
The receivers, if they're coming back, they're thinking you may have 40 seconds, but no, it's only like 10.
Yeah.
So you gotta, when you call the play, if it's not successful or successful, hurry back, guys. We're gonna try to take a shot.
Yeah. Right.
We gotta tell them ahead of time.
And I understand they didn't want to leave any time on the clock because their defense is playing terrible,
and they got a kicker
who can kick from 70 yards. On the ensuing kickoff, they might have taken it, to the 35.
No, I get it.
So,
they were overthinking it at that point.
They were lucky to get away with the tie, and they should have left with a win. That's the bottom line. Okay, quick, and then we'll get out of here. What's the focus during the bye week?
Great question. The focus has to be, how do you go from the best team in the league to way down in the pack? Well, your goals are still out in front of you. It puts a lot of pressure on the next opponent. It's Cincinnati, who doesn't have Joe Burrow. It's a game you have at home, and you need that particular game. But right now, is a lot of self-inflicted wounds. Because how can you explain beating 2 of the best NFC teams and one of the worst AFC team and one of the worst NFC team was competitive with you? Were you better than you think, or are we worse than we think? Coaches have to get the messaging right for that. So I put a lot of pressure on the coaching staff, who started out of the box, but now they got to get the messaging right. Now, I know the injuries, I don't want to get into that, because you have 53 guys.
Yeah,
everybody's
got
hurt.
injuries.
I mean, Cincinnati don't have their quarterback.
Right.
A lot of people don't have it. They're linemen and all that. But right now, the messaging is, look at these last 2 games and see where you can improve.
Yeah, and figure out how to win a game. Because you had 2 winnable games, and you're letting those just slip right through your fingers.
Yes.
And do they have to learn how to win? I don't know.
Well, learning how to win is part of it, but you would think, though, although this, I hate to say it, but I got to say it, you are the youngest team in the league.
Yeah.
But it shows, though. It shows.
But they're experienced young guys.
But it's an experience like a Philly that doesn't panic, or some of these teams is a little bit older than you.
Yeah, but
these
this
guys,
is supposed to be their time, and
I agree.
They don't have time to waste.
But this is on-the-job training, because when Hobbs goes out and Valentine's, go up there and challenge the guy, man. Make him beat you.
Mm-hmm.
But a younger guy, not real confident, may play off and just don't let him get behind you. Well, where do you think Jamar Chase is going? And you don't need an all-pro quarterback to just throw it out there. You're going to see that now. So
I also think it'll be interesting to see if they look for run-stopping defensive linemen with Wyatt. I don't know what his situation. Nobody has said how long.
So you saying trade for somebody?
Or pick someone up off the street. Yeah. I mean, a run stuffer's not that hard to get. It's not like those guys, are high value. If you can get a guy who's decent at stopping the run, and he can play in the,
but isn't
early
every
downs.
team looking for that?
No, they're looking for pass rushers.
Oh,
Everybody's looking for pass rushers.
Okay, you got it.
Nobody. So I mean, if there's a guy who's halfway decent, then maybe they need to look at that. I don't know what Wyatt's situation is, but we'll find out more.
Yeah.
Next week. So we get the bye this week, so you don't have to make a prediction. Let's go. Yeah. Who do you want to thank as we head?
Well, Totito's the tradition of watching games and doing that leap is amazing. I want to thank everybody for coming out to South Shore down in off of Oakland Street in Milwaukee. We had a big crowd out there for the re-grand opening of Metro Market down there. So, I appreciate the kids at UWM. There was a lot of kids there, and we gave away some Greeby donuts and some crawlers. I never had one of those before.
Oh, those are awesome.
Yeah, but I never had it. Of course, I mentioned Pick and Save. You can always get my Spirit Leap Vodka, of course. Anywhere they sell alcohol in the state of Wisconsin, just ask them for it. And again, visit Milwaukee.org. And check out my guide, Charlie Barron's new tour, the Lost and Found Tour. Just go to charliebarons.com for all the dates. I think the next one is coming up is in October. So check him out. He's my favorite comedian. So.
Okay, and don't forget to check X's and O's. We got a lot of good plays as usual. You're definitely going to want to take a look. Yes. And we will be back after the bye next week, heading into the Cincinnati game. We'll take a look at the Bengals.
Go Pack.
All right. See you next week.